know how to handle it properly maybe, and it takes time until I really say, wow, that's good.
Well, you did say that you retired officially, but we still, harbor some hopes that maybe you will at one point come back. Do you ever think about that at all, or?
Well, I don't want to disappoint anybody and take away the hopes, but it definitely won't be happening in the near future.
Actually, I was wondering about that transition from professional top-level chess player, because at some point all of us had to go through this, to non-chess life. Is that a difficult change? Did you find that to be a difficult change, or did you embrace moving away from the professional chess life?
I hope this is not a question as you're planning to retire.
No, it's just, I was very curious about it because, well, it's, we all have our moment as a professional player and in our life, and then as a, we move on at some point, and I was curious about your perspective.
Yeah. It was not an overnight decision that I stopped playing chess after 38 years of playing. I was, in that time already, I was doing many things. I established my foundation, I wrote my trilogy, my book series, I was developing together with my team in education. So there were a lot of other things I was connected to. And at some point you just say, you can't do everything. And also the priorities not necessarily are there anymore as a professional player. So it was something that I decided, and my husband was very supportive, and we made this transition in a very nice way, I believe. I think many of the players, even when they retire, they don't announce it.
Yeah.
And also, for example, there are some players, for example, Kremlin, he's still there, right?
Yeah,
he's still
true.
playing in Blitz and Rapid and exhibitions. I can't do that because somehow after you retire, disappointment for myself, I think.
Is it sort of like a mental thing, like when you're into chess, that it's always in the back of your mind, and then when you start transitioning to other things, that like that moment where you wake up and you're just thinking about some position that just fades away a little bit?
I think this is one of the secret being on the top, that simply it's not that whatever amount of hours you're spending at the board training, but really those moments when you're walking and talking to each other, and when you're eating and something comes up, even if it's not a novelty of your life, still it is something that it's on your mind. He was younger, he was always on chess, or whoever on the top, they're really in that box, right? And I think it's just simply something you have to have on whatever sport you are doing. So for me, it was when I said I'm retiring in 2014, actually in the last few rounds of the Tromsø Olympiad. It was funny that I was talking with one of the grandmasters after the last round, and he came to me and says, retiring? And then we were talking like a few minutes about it, and then before saying goodbye, he says, where are you playing next?
Exactly. Yeah.
I said, well, we just had a talk that I retired, and I'm not joking about it. And it was interesting because you feel like a little bit empty after that. I'm happy that I knew that I have a new life ahead of me, but somehow I also felt I was doing already the chess festival, and I felt while doing other things, I got very positive feedbacks. And that also gave me the pleasure and to do other things related to chess, but already not on the chessboard, but outside of the chessboard. Do much more giving back to chess already outside of the board than on the board.
I imagine that you bring that competitive side from chess into other endeavors as well. Is that your personality in some ways?
You know, it's interesting because when you're a competitor in sport, success can be measured in points, in rating points, in victories. I mean, it's so clear that even if someone does not play chess, they see the numbers. And that is not lying, and you can't blah, 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 right? In other fields, it's different. And in the beginning, it was something very strange for me, that I'm not losing. People are happy. Even if I consider that I did not do the thing which I planned, that it should work out that way, and I knew or I felt that it was much lower level or it turned out differently, which I was not happy with, the people from outside, they don't see it because it's not about points. And
So how did you measure that feedback? Do you read the comments for, let's say, whenever you do commentary? Do you watch how many people are watching the stream or things of that nature? How do you motivate yourself in that regard?
Yeah, of course, numbers there is clear that it's a sign. So also feedbacks, personal feedbacks, and also emails and onlines. Of course, the comments on live stream. Maybe most likely it's much better not to read them. Well, you feel that also as a professional player, that when you're commentating, what lines you had. I'm trying to explain it for also an audience who is not so strong player. But basically feedbacks from persons and numbers.
Actually, I was thinking about this, especially when you were talking last night during your interview, and you mentioned that you have from an early age, and with chess players, between those who are competitive inwardsly, they try to improve themselves constantly, and those who compete with others, like I need to beat this person. And do you feel like there's a difference there? Like, do you get your from finding an obstacle, like an opponent that you need to defeat?
Actually, it's an extremely good question, and I think it is also something extremely important for youngsters nowadays to understand that it's either 50-50 or more that you have to be focusing on yourself to be happy. Because I was a competitor for so long. At the same time, for me, chess was always an art. That's very clear. For a long time, art was somehow more a priority in my game than the rating points. And I could raise my rating over 2700 only when I understood that art should be second.
You have to do your research.
And after all, I'm a sport person, so maybe I should look the result first. And but I could at the same time improve my chess always because I was with my own self. And I think that's the only way you can improve, to be self-critical, as all chess players we are, I think, as we always have to reconsider our previous moves made. And so I have to have the inner drive to get better, to make it, of course, in a chess game or chess preparation, you have several things. You want to get a new idea, you want to surprise your opponent, you have to have the psychological element and some other stuff. But when I work on the festival, for example, getting new ideas, it's all about my brain, that where it takes me, and that I'm motivated because I'm interested about it. And I think that can make things different from one another. When a company makes an event and there has to be a board, there has to be the decoration, it has to be the seats, and all those hundreds of different things, that's one thing. But when you make an event with a special touch and this feeling of experience,
Guys, please, can we
you
get
have
some
to be
likes,
there,
man?
because
Can we
only
get some
then you
likes,
feel it.
man?
That's a
Please.
different
7
story,
people on live.
and that's what I'm trying to
Let's get some
implement in the
likes.
festival also.
I'm very
That's the
sick today,
feedback
but
I
I'm
get,
playing.
that
I'm streaming because I
that
just have to do it.
it's
I just have to get on
inspirational.
with it.
So going back to your question, I think it is very important that you motivate you and somehow you're happy and inspiring your own self to get better and to do things which you're happy with, because after that the result also comes more naturally.
And speaking of the competitive nature, you took that from playing and training early on with your sisters. Talk to us a bit about the system that your dad implemented with you and your sisters that made you also great.
Well, I'm pretty sure if I would be going to school and I would have been training 2-3 hours a day, I would nowhere.
Not enough. 2-3 hours, not enough.
No way, because my strength was never the opening preparation, for example, even though I could have enough time to work it out. And the combinations were in my blood. Which means, in reality, that whenever I was playing in a game, I was able to calculate further. I could set up so-called tricks or traps because